All right. Well, good afternoon. We're really excited to kick off our ECBC year for the 21-22 school year. But before we kick off officially, I think I will turn it over to Tom Delaney, my supervisor in our interagency partnership, to give an official welcome to our ECBC today.
Hi, everyone. Tom Delaney from the Minnesota Department of Education. And it's my pleasure to be back here this year to welcome all of you to the 2021-2022 Employment Capacity Building Cohort. This is a really important event to not just the Department of Education, but also to the Department of Employment and Economic Development and the Department of Human Services, because it is one of those very special efforts we take as state agencies to actually make a difference for our state by connecting with people who actually do the work with young adults and families in local level communities. Not all of our work in the area of policy making and developing other types of regulations or legislation, that type of thing, has the kind of connection that we have in the employment capacity building cohort, where we work directly with you to support you in making the changes that you want to see in your local community for your young adults with disabilities. So I have the pleasure today, I understand, of welcoming 29 teams across the state of Minnesota, including many teams from outstate Minnesota. And that's been a special emphasis of this project, is to get out to more places in a wider geographic space across the state. So I'm really excited that we are reaching new places in the state of Minnesota, engaging with teams and the communities and families that those teams serve. So thank you very much for that. If I have to kick off this year with a couple of things, there are three statements that kind of come to mind for me, and I hope you will at least listen, if not consider jotting them down for yourself. This is my advice for going into employment capacity building cohort any year. The first thing is, number one, you are the right person, okay? You are where you are because events have led you to being in this place doing what you do. And you are the right person at the right place at the right time to do what needs to be done. I hope that maybe you'll have the opportunity to reflect upon that and wonder to yourself, wow, how did that happen? But not for too long, because you do have work to do. But you should have a special sense about yourself and when you look at other people around you, because events have led you to be the person who is going to do it. So in that way, I would say that you are lucky, and it's no one else, it's you. So feel good about that and feel confident too that that's why you're there to do it. Secondly, when it comes to employment capacity building cohort, you get out what you put into it. So we're going to talk a lot about data and assessments and all kinds of things happening. And understand that what we're doing is trying to support you and make sure that we provide you with what you need to be successful at your local level. And the last thing I would say is always remember, you are never alone. The reason it's called an employment capacity building cohort is that you are in a cohort, and there are people in the same teams across the entire state of Minnesota facing the same challenges as you, trying to figure it out. We have state staff here to help you. So always remember that and reach out. That's what makes this cohort special, is now you have an entire network of support that goes up to 3 steps away from the governor's office if need be. But most importantly, it goes all the way to your community and you and your work and continuity between that, so that we can all support each other. So thank you, and have a wonderful employment capacity building cohort year.
Yay. Thank you, Tom. That couldn't have been a better introduction to our 8th year. Really, really appreciate it, and always appreciate your support as well. Next, we're going to get into our agenda for today. So per usual, we have a very tight schedule, but it's full of content for you and for our team. And if we don't get to everything in terms of your questions, please know we are capturing the chat as well. So if you put them in there, we can always put out a Q&A. and the ECBC steering committee team, we meet regularly and would be able to help answer some of those questions. I'm going to back up one step a second because we do have some new faces on here. So I just wanted to take a moment and maybe Alyssa and I could introduce ourselves. And then we'll also get into some of our other members of our steering committee and leads a little bit later as well. So just to start, I'm Lindsay Horowitz, the post-secondary transition specialist in the interagency partnership unit under Tom's leadership. And I get to collaborate with other state agencies, and I also get to collaborate with Alyssa. And I'll turn it over to you to introduce.
Hi, everybody. This is Alyssa Klein from DEED Vocational Rehabilitation Services. I'm our statewide transition and pre-employment transition coordinator. So I'm also glad to welcome all of you to a new year of ECBC. I also would like to hand it over to Carrie Jacober from DHS to introduce herself.
Afternoon, everyone. Carrie Jacober. I work in disability services at the Department of Human Services.
Thank you, Carrie. So thank you for going with me on that one, Carrie and Alyssa. And then we'll just go back to our agenda here. So we had our welcome. Then the next thing we're gonna do is go through our ECBC, so Employment Capacity Building Cohort, and what it is, and looking at what we're doing for the 21-22 school year and that structure of the 3 ECBC strands. We will also have an opportunity to review the workbook and our 5-step process. I feel like those of us who are returning, we've simplified some things. So looking for your feedback there and looking forward to that. And then we're also going to walk through a trajectory from a state level and kind of looking at that. And then we will go into some breakouts, the second half hour of our first hour, so that you guys have time to do your self-assessment here today. And then we'll wrap up our large group and go into the breakouts that you chose through your self-assessment that you get to do today. Sweet. Somebody I heard just said sweet, so I appreciate that. The next thing, we would love to hear from you. So if you just want to put into the chat, what's your role and what is your favorite job you've had? And type those into the chat. It's always fun to see who we're here with today and get a little bit of interaction from you. So just type in the chat what your role is and what your favorite job was or is. Oh, favorite job is transition teacher. Hi, Carol. You just popped up on my screen. Oh, coaching soccer. Oh, fun. Oh, they're moving too fast. I can't read them. Oh, Jennifer, I saw yours in there too. Oh, favorite. Oh, activating target. That's your favorite job. Wow. Activating Target debit cards. Well, that sounds cool. Oh, somebody wrote work coordinator and I love it. Oh, well, this is great. Thank you guys. And we'll keep those coming in. I'm going to just keep us going for the purpose of time, but it's really fun. And you think of the excitement that came through when you're thinking of your favorite job. And so trying to transfer that into what's favorite, how can we make our students' job their favorite job? I think, let's keep going here. Okay, so here we are we are going into our 8th year. Some of us have been a part of the employment capacity building cohort since the start, and some of us are joining new this year. So just a little bit of an overview. The ECBC began as Minnesota Olmstead Plan Initiative, really focusing on competitive integrated employment outcomes for students with DCD. We are focusing on competitive integrated employment for all students ages 18 through 21 in transition programming, including those with DCD. We heard from you guys, knowing that these strategies apply to all disabilities. We still report out on the students with DCD. but knowing that this applies for all of our students. So then going into our community teams. So ECBC is a network of community teams that is including, at a minimum, the school, VRS and/or SSB, and county staff. And when you're joining ECBC, you're committing to, as a team, engage in a multi-year continuous improvement process. So the idea isn't that you join for 1 year, you do your checklist and you're done. We want to help support you in building that capacity within your districts and in your teams. And so then the teams meet monthly to review progress data and problem solve, as well as engage in state level meetings where you're going to share insights on what works well, what doesn't, in serving our students with disabilities and improving that overall system. And that those larger meetings are here, and we have those 5 times throughout the school year. So then next, I'm going to turn it over to my colleague, Carrie, and we're going to talk a little bit more about charting the life course and specifically the trajectory tool.
Great, thank you, Lindsay. So I wanted to talk a little bit about the life course trajectory tool, and some of you that are familiar with life course might understand how this process works, but I can't wait till there's a day we don't have to call it a trajectory and it's just a more meaningful way or process to organize and articulate what our vision and our goals are. So there's many ways to use a trajectory. So we thought about it as a state team for this ECBC year. You could certainly use it within your own life or within your working with students. But as a state team, I wanted to talk a little bit about what to expect this ECBC year. Oh, that's a tongue twister. So as some of you may know, but if not, the trajectory is usually something we start at that top, that purple box, or we can start in the red. But for my conversation, I'm going to talk to you a little bit about at the state level, our team thought about the vision for this ECBC year. We also thought about it from a community team level, like from your team, and also a student level. So as we thought about the vision for youth is that youth are equipped by graduation to reach their employment goals and have those experiences in competitive integrated employment that match their skills and interests, provides them a living wage, and really just maximizes their potential. So that is our vision, our hope for youth. Our vision and hope for you as community team members is that together we will build a person-centered system for students to help them enter competitive integrated employment, and that you'll complete this work by receiving high quality technical assistance, training resources, and evaluation tools, and you will do it within a community of folks that are learning together and supportive. So that is our hope for you. We also thought, like the trajectory helps us do, about things we don't want to see happen this year. And some of the things we don't want for youth is that there is low expectations, that they are without choices or plans after graduation, that there's a lack of experience that may result in like poverty, isolation, unhappiness. We don't want that for our youth. We also thought about you as community team members and what we didn't want for you. And really we want ECBC to be something that is a good use of your time and resources, and that you really value participating. So with those in mind, what we want and what we don't want, kind of going up the arrow there, we talked about what's going to happen this year. So some of these things Lindsay talked about already, so I'll just touch really lightly on them, but we will work through activities that include completing an annual assessment, planning, and tracking the progress. We'll do so by doing a few activities like setting goals to assist students in that 18 to 21 programming, obtain work experience and targets for disability categories that we will offer, and you will receive training and coaching in one of the following strand areas. So there's 3 different options. There's high quality transition programming, business engagement, and customized employment. And Lindsay talked a little bit about that there's 5 state level meetings like today, and also monthly local team meetings to help support this work.
Thank you, Carrie. Beautiful. And now let's see if I can reshare back to our PowerPoint. Okay.
And then the box down below talks about we're not going to let COVID get in the way.
Sorry, I can scroll down. Oh dear. Carrie, bear with me. There, can you see? Okay. I'm gonna reshare. Are you guys seeing the PowerPoint, Alyssa? and
Yep,
Carrie?
we see it.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
So
All
that's
right.
next is me, right?
Yes.
Okay. Hi, this is Alyssa again. So we're going to review that 5-step process, and in the next few slides we'll go through it in more in depth. But step 1 is for you all to complete your team self-assessment, and you're going to have time to do that. Once you complete that self-assessment, you select one of those 3 strands, and we're going to talk a little bit more about those 3 strands in a moment. The second step is to solidify your community team and set monthly meetings. And so you're also going to have a little bit of time to start on that today. The third step is entering enrollment data and creating a team employment goal. Step 4 is tracking goals and student data through the student tracker. And then step 5 is tracking team progress through action plan and milestones. And we're not going to cover that today. That will be next month. So, all right, we'll go to the next slide. So I know some of you are even putting in the chat, like getting access to the PowerPoint, and I will, or unless somebody else can copy and paste, I put the link in earlier. You do need to have access to the SharePoint site. So the link is on here. Many of you who've been engaged in ECBC in the past have access already. Those of you who are new might not. So you click on that for the first time, and then we accept you and give you access. Some people that are outside the state system can have some difficulties getting in. So if that's the case, Lindsay is the lucky one that you can contact. She's good at problem solving. With sometimes there's difficulties that we can't even get around. In that case, we will send you and your team the workbook through email, so you have that. So, but we want everything to be saved on SharePoint as much as possible. And then each team has a folder, and I'm going to show you the site in a second. All documents will be saved in that folder. And actually, all the documents that we're going to be going through in terms of the process are all in the workbook. So maybe that is what I'll do next, is just show you really quick the site. And I think I got to do it real quickly myself. This is when you get into SharePoint, this is the home page. Are you seeing it, Lindsay?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. This is the home page that you will go to. On the left here, you click on Documents. Go real slow because I'm showing this to all of you. And then you get to this screen, which has every team listed. I'm going to make it the top a little smaller here. So all the teams are listed. If your team is not there, let us know. That means we'll get you on there and make sure you have a folder. So just let us know if your team isn't on there. But
yeah, Alyssa, could I chime in really quick? So if you don't have access, click the link that I put in the chat again that Alyssa had put in previously and request access. Then that way I can batch approve all of you at once. Okay, thanks.
Thank you. So I'm going to pick on Brainerd. I'm going to click on their team. You'll see like they were involved last year, so they have a 2021, but click on this year, 21, 22. You'll see what we have in there for all of you is a workbook. And then we also have charting the life course trajectory, because we'll talk about you doing that with your teams between this month and next month as well. The workbook is pretty self-explanatory, and once you open it, one tip for those of you that aren't familiar with using SharePoint, I recommend that once you open it, you click right here. It says open in the desktop app, because then you get full functionality within Excel when you open it that way. I'm not going to do it right now because we don't have much time, but just also to note, on the bottom is where you're going to see all the different tabs for the different workbook sheets that we're going to be talking about today. And there's more than that you can even see down here. You can just click plus down here and you can move over and see other tabs there. So just FYI on that. I think that's all. Is there anything else on the workbook? I don't think there's anything else I wanted to share on that.
I think you covered it. I think the one thing we just want to make sure that once you get in, I do see all of the things coming in saying you don't have access. We will get you access if you don't. But once you are in, please, please, please remember to bookmark it. Even those of us who are used to using SharePoint, please bookmark it. Yes.
One other thing I wanted to note, when you get into documents, we also have it pinned at the top, but ECBC resources is where we put like today's PowerPoint. So any resources we share, so we have a folder in here for 2021-22. You can click in there, you'll find each meeting and we'll have the resources we shared. So that's where you can find the PowerPoint too. Okay, I'll stop sharing and go back to the PowerPoint.
Okay. Here we go.
Step one, I know you're still pulling it up, but I'll start because I know we're short on time here. We're going to talk about it a little bit more in a moment, but the step one is to complete your team self-assessment and select a strand. And again, we're going to give you time starting at approximately 1:30, maybe shortly afterwards, for you all to go into your community teams and work on your self-assessment for this year. So what you will do is go in your workbook and you go down to the tab at the bottom that says self-assessment and you'll complete that together. Once you complete it, you'll want to discuss the results and then as a team, choose your strand based on the results of that assessment. You might have been involved in ECBC in the past and you might want to continue on that strand, but it's still important to do that self-assessment just to kind of check where you're at with everything and make sure it's the right thing for your team, right strand for your team. Okay. So again, 3 strands, that's what you're going to be doing the self-assessment around. They're listed on here. We have high quality transition programming, business engagement, and embedding customized employment into school transition programming. We have the leads listed on here for each of those strands, and the leads are going to talk right now briefly just to give you a little snippet about what each strand is about. I think we're going to start with high quality transition programming.
Yes. Thank you, Alyssa. So this is high quality transition programming, and this is myself, Lindsay Horowitz, and Sue Benolkin. I can't see you, but hopefully you're waving or you want to say hello. But we get to lead this one together. And so really in high quality transition planning, it's really going through the IEP transition process, addressing their students' strengths, preferences, and interests as it relates to education, independent living, and personal social environments. And with the high quality transition planning, we want to obviously make sure there's fun and understanding that meaning behind it, working together as a team to implement that high quality transition planning and programming from a systemic standpoint. And then making sure that we're including our partnerships of including our county, our VRS, and other community providers, not just our school team. So as we see, and as many of us know, the more we collaborate with our community partners, the better off and the better our outcomes are for our youth. And going into business engagement for Michelle and Amanda.
Hello, everyone. Michelle Shimolewski, Deed BRS. This year in the business engagement strand, we will be adding on to our learning of utilizing tools and techniques that have been developed while attending our placement 101 training, and our business engagement and beyond training. We'll be collaborating to assist and identify students, preparing them for their job search, and connecting with local businesses to increase the opportunities for work-based learning experience and a goal of competitive integrated employment. So looking forward to working with the teams that select business engagement.
Thank you, Michelle. Next, I'll turn it over to Margie and Josh.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Margie Webb, and my partner is Josh Dean. We both work for VRS, and we're both customized employment specialists or focus in that realm. And our strand is about embedding customized employment strategies in school programming. You know, whatever pieces you can take away from and get started in your individual districts, that would be great. We hope that people can access training and implement some of those strategies with the students they work with to improve results on competitive integrated employment. You know, we've had this strand for, this is our second year now, and we did a lot of training with it the year before. So we're here to support that for those of you who choose this. And there's a lot of different pieces that you could choose to embed and help move your district forward in learning the strategies as well as implementing those.
Great, thank you, Margie. All right, so then going on to step 2, and we'll do some of this today in the community team members tab in the workbook. And so we're saying we want to make sure that we have education, and so making sure that administration is aware of it and they're ideally involved. And we know we have some administration on here today, so that's really amazing. So thank you for being here. And then just thinking of other possible team members from an education standpoint. You know, we have our administrators, our work coordinators, case managers, school social workers, school nurses, and others. Wanting to make sure that all are involved or are aware so that you can implement and build that capacity within your district. Then going into VRS, so ensuring that counselors and their regional area manager, the RAM, are included, and then optional to have the VRS placement staff, those community providers? No, placement staff. Right, Alyssa? And then going on to...
And their PS representatives might be engaged in some cases too. Yep.
Thank you. And then county, so Carrie, please feel free to chime in, if, but thinking of making sure that our, if you have more than one county in your district or co-op, we have the representatives for Ramsey, Hennepin County. And then if you need help making contact with anybody else with counties that are represented in your district, please reach out. We're happy to help with that. But knowing that you have a robust community team, having education, VRS and SSB, and then county as a community partnership team. And then other possible team members, oh, Carrie, I'm so sorry. Other possible team members that we have are health representatives, community rehabilitation programs, CRPs, or independent living centers, so ILs, and other advocacy organizations, students, families, employers. I do believe we have a couple family participants today too, so welcome and glad you're here as well. And I'm going to turn it back over to you, Alyssa, to go through some of our workbook, and we'll get into this too in our breakouts as well.
Yeah, and I'll go through it pretty quickly, but this is the community team members tab. So this is something you can refer back to remind you of what you need to do. It's pretty self-explanatory. but you just want to make sure you get everybody's name and contact information on there. Be sure that you identify who your team lead or team leads are. So you'll need to decide that amongst your team, because at certain times we need to contact just the leads to get certain information out. And we also would like to know when your monthly meeting date and time is. So you'll want to be scheduling that together, figuring out when you're going to meet each month, and make sure that it's in your workbook. Okay, and then step 3 is enter enrollment data and create a team goals. That's on the enrollment data and goals tab. And in a second, we'll show you the screenshot of that. But what you'll need to do as a team is get your child count data from the district. And these are students who are in 18 to 21 transition programming. And so you have for each age and for each disability category, entering in numbers. And then you'll want to look at that data as a team and decide goals for each of the, the numbers of students you have, like how many of them do you want to help enter into competitive integrated employment for the year? And as it says on here, when we say CIE, it's a job in the community. It can be a work experience through a work-based learning program or through VRS assisting with work-based learning experiences too. But it's where a student is paid by an employer and they're earning at least minimum wage. And we suggest that each team shoot for obtaining, at least 50% of your students, if possible, to obtain CIE this year. So the next slide is just a screenshot. So at the top, you'll see, the little arrows got put behind the picture there, but they're pointing to where you're going to enter the data. And again, it's pretty self-explanatory when you go in there. So like that first section, we have the 13 disability categories under special education in there. So the first is speech or language impaired. And you'll see we have age 18, 19, 20, 21. You have how many of students are enrolled in those ages. And then once you get the enrollment in there, you can go back as a team and say, okay, of these students, what's our goal? How many of these students do we want to help gain CIE? And then that bottom picture shows you at the very end. So if you were to scroll all the way to the right on that spreadsheet, it will give you a grand total. So it'll give you the total of students enrolled, and it automatically tallies this for you. And then the number that you have as your goal, and then I'll give you that percentage. And again, ideally striving for at least 50% if you're able to do that.
Perfect. And I also want to point out, we've written directions under each tab too, if you forget. So then step 4 would be to enter your goals and students on the student tracker tab. And so you're going to input your students your team will focus on this year and give each student some form of identification, a number or however you want to code it, but just no identifiable information because we are accessing these. And then ensuring students have all needed interagency partners and review monthly. I'm going to click to the next slide because we just so you can see. So here is that student tracker tab and where you're going to enter the goal. So where this big red circle is, this is where you're going to enter goals for 1 and then 1A and 2 and 2A. So you're going to enter the goal and then you want to update that monthly as your progress to date here. And then down here is where we're saying you would enter those student number that you come up with or initials so that there's no identifiable information, this little red circle. And then we added here the trajectory completed for this checklist down here with a student. So the idea is that Carrie went over today that state level trajectory. We're going to go over it in your strands. And then the idea would be that you could use that trajectory tool with individualized students. And then when you're in the student tracker tab, want to make sure you scroll over because there's some additional checkpoint items that are only there to help you in terms of where you are going in a specific strand area. And then step 5, your action plan and milestones. Don't worry too much about these right now. We are planning on working on them in November. By all means, if you know and you want to get started, please go for it. Again, there's directions on each part of the tab. But again, we will have time to work on it in November as well. And then we added a checklist tab so that you don't have to remember it all in your head. We thought this would be a helpful tool. We did, so here's like the up top, the monthly community team meeting checklist. So that's what we're saying. Ideally, you would complete every month when you guys meet with your community teams. And then we have a checklist from October to November. Your team, so we called it homework. So this would be what you're doing in between today and then our November meeting. And then we will add a November to January checklist and a January to March checklist and so on and so forth. Please know these workbooks are here for you. So you can also tailor some of those things. We have seen teams tailor and put additional items in their workbook as well. Oh. Alyssa, did you have anything else to add on that one? Okay.
Okay, well, we're getting really low on time here, so I want to get through. I know some of you have questions too, and some of these we're just going to have to send out through email, so we'll do that, a Q&A. But the next slide here again is that self-assessment, and that's what you're going to be doing next. We're going to give you all a little bit of time to go into your community teams between now and about 2 o'clock. And so again, go into the self-assessment tab, and you'll complete it in terms of, it gives you a little directory there on, it says current status and current needs. So you'll complete that and how you should complete that, whether 0, not in place, 1, partially in place, 2, fully implemented. And then on the current need, if it's low, medium, or high priority, and that will help you decide which strand you want to choose. Make sure at the top you do enter the strand that you selected, so we know that. We go back into these workbooks and kind of see where everybody is at, so that's really important.
Okay.
So I think we need questions, but put them into the chat. We can even reach out to you directly afterwards if you have questions that we weren't able to answer today. So we're apologizing for right now for not being able to have enough time to do that.
And this is also on the ECBC SharePoint. So we just wanted to make sure you had somewhere written down the additional dates for this, the remainder of the year. And then we want to go through our next step. So now we are going to move into the self-assessment. So when we open the breakouts, if you want, we do have a breakout for each community team. So for example, if you're in Alexandria, you'll select Alexandria ECBC team. If you're in Brooklyn Center, you'll select Brooklyn Center ECBC team. So we will open them. You will have, Alyssa, let's, we were initially planning for 30 minutes. What do we think in terms of going into, we would only have 20 minutes if we still stayed on our original.
Yep. So.
Okay. All right. So we're going to have time. What?
I would say, you know, we're going to open up. So you're going to go into these, your community teams. You're going to do your self-assessment. Once you select a strand, you're going to go into the link for your strand that you select. We're going to be opening up the meetings for the strands at 2 o'clock. So if you haven't completed it, you can finish that and then go into the strand once you're done.
Perfect. So we'll give you that time to complete them. So if you have questions, we'll remain here to help answer those questions. But again, so the first step is you're going to go in to the breakout of your community team. We'll open those in a minute. Once you've completed that, then you will select which strand you've chosen based on your self-assessment. So if you've chosen high quality transition planning, you'll just come back to the main room here. If you've chosen business engagement, we'll put the link in the chat here. And so you'll want to copy that and keep that with you. And if you've chosen embedding customized employment into transition programming, you want to copy that link as well. And I think I'm watching Alyssa, and I think Alyssa's putting them in the chat as we speak. So our first step is, I think Alyssa and Carrie, we are ready to open up our breakouts. Okay, Emily. Okay, thank you, Emily. So go ahead and select which community teams you will be joining. And if you have questions, we are here. And I feel like I should answer the SharePoint. We are going to approve. If you have questions, you can email me as well. I'm going to stop sharing, I think.
Hello. Can you
Hi.
hear me?
Yes.
Hi there. Is this primarily meant for secondary or transitions for 18 to 21-year-olds
Yes.
after they've left high school and now they're in that transition program?
Yes, so ideally, it is for the 18 to 21-year-old programming. Some are joining and implementing some of the strategies in high school age. However, we, from a data perspective, are tracking the students from 18 to 21-year-olds.
Okay. So, I mean, as a work coordinator, I do have some 18-year-olds that will probably eventually be going into the transition program in my district. So you'll be tracking that data too, I suppose, I'm assuming.
Currently, right now, we are tracking students ages 18 through 21 in the DCD category, but we're tracking all disability areas. But from a reporting standpoint to the Olmsted office, we report out on the students who are in that disability category of DCD.
Perfect. Okay. Thanks for your help.
Yes, no, thank you.
So if we don't see I don't see a list.
Well,
to
that's
get
what I was just
into.
gonna say, Jenny. I don't see us either.
Mm-mm.
District 196.
You guys should be on there. No, did I not? Well, let's see here.
I'm not seeing it either.
Yeah, I'm not sure what I'm doing wrong. This is Sherry and I want to join Brooklyn Center.
Okay, let me put you in there, Sherry.
Oh, thank you.
No problem. And 196, bear with me.
Oh, thanks.
There's 916 and no one's in there.
There's intermediate district
Oh.
916, and then there's district 196.
There's one called Rave. I think we're supposed to be in Rave, Rosemont, Apple Valley. It just shows.
Oh, yep, thank you. Looking for district 728.
Oh, Lindsay, can you put me in the Brooklyn Center one too? They're probably waiting for me.
Hi there.
Sorry.
Well, you're
Yeah,
Miss
if you
G
can-
on here.
If you can put me in the 196 too, because I'm not seeing where I can put myself.
Okay.
Me too, Lindsay.
So you're gonna go into Rosemont, Apple Valley, Egan.
That's Rave.
Okay.
Mhm.
So let's see.
Lindsay, would you please put me onto Robbinsdale? I couldn't find anyone.
Who's speaking? Oh, Azim. Okay.
Oh, Azeb. I'm sorry. Robbinsdale business engagement. So I went there. No one was there.
Well, I don't even see you Azim on my list here.
Oh, you don't. Okay.
If who else needs to go to Rosemont? Oh, hi, Kate. Kate, where do you need to go?
Hi, Lindsay. We are looking for the Hopkins St. Louis Park. So Minnetonka went their own direction with transitions this year.
And there should
So
be.
I know Jillian is looking for it too. It looks like in the chat.
Oh, I must not have given a Hopkins one. Thought I did. Emily, did I give you Hopkins?
There was not.
Okay. You could go to West Tonka. Because I don't think, how about the Hopkins group goes to West Tonka?
Okay, Jillian, did you get that?
I'll join that one, the West Tonka one. Thank
West
you.
Thank you,
Tonka.
guys.
I'll be in there too then. Thank you.
Okay.
Okay, thank you. Katie, I see you. You want to go to the North St. Paul, Maplewood, Oakdale.
Oh, I'm just kind of nudging my team members to see if we're going.
Oh, you should be going.
Yes. So yes, we're good. I'm good. Yes. I'll be in the breakout room.
Okay.
So what should I do, Lindsay?
Emily, do you see Azab on your list?
Some people
went-
can't find the breakout rooms. Can you tell people how to find them?
So if I press, it's
If you-
different on my screen.
Yeah, I think you can, if you click on more or the ellipses, it should be there if you click on breakout rooms.
You have to, scroll down, everybody, and then you might see a bunch of names, but scroll down, then you'll see all the team names.
Jen, I'm going to send you to St. Cloud. What should we do? Okay, Wendy, yes, email me and then I can approve you guys. So for those of you who are just logging on, if you want to select your community team, so it would be your district community team that you are a part of. And you can just select Brainerd, Carissa.
So I'm the only team member of Northeast Metro 916 in attendance, and I also do not have access. So
Can you put your
I
email
can go in
the
and look
chat?
at myself, but I really don't, I don't want to
Okay.
do that.
Why don't you put your email in the chat? And then
Okay.
I can give you access.
Okay, that was already done. And I did send, I wasn't invited to this meeting either. It was forwarded to me by our lead. But I did send you an email. Yeah, I'll just listen to
Just
you.
now you did, because I haven't been checking as we
Yep.
speak.
But I put my
Okay.
email in here a few times, so I think
Okay,
Alyssa
all right.
did
I
give me
can-
access.
We're doing the best we can, you guys. I appreciate
For
you
sure.
guys being flexible. All right, let me give, so Chris and Laura, you guys should have access. Others who are still in here who need help. Okay, who is this? St. Louis County, oh, Northland Learning Center, is that where you're trying to go? Or Northern Lights? I'm not sure who just direct messaged me because it doesn't show. Oh, Nick. Nick, aren't you supposed to go to Northern Lights?
Okay, now I'm in. So go to the chat.
Yes, I'm trying to get into the Northern Lights group. I
All right,
was
let's
there
do it.
last year.
You sure were. All right, let's move you there. Nick Hansen, right?
Yes, please.
All right, there you go.
Thank you.
Asked for help. Okay. Alyssa, I'm gonna go into Elk River, or do you want to go in there? They're asking for help.
I don't know how.
I can go in there. They're okay.
So Alyssa, this is Wendy Fritz. I am still trying to get access to SharePoint.
Yeah, so if you've clicked on it and you're still not getting access, Lindsay's gonna have to problem solve with you. I don't know the tricks of the trade with that,
Okay.
unfortunately. So I wish I could help you more. I'm sorry, but we'll make sure you get.
And then Alyssa, is there a Detroit Lakes group once I get in there? Because I saw a question was she didn't see the Detroit Lakes group. Maybe Caroline found it, but there
let's
is not
see.
a Detroit Lakes group.
Oh, in ECB, in the on the SharePoint, it's not on there?
No, in the breakout rooms, there isn't a Detroit Lakes group. Oops. And this is our first year, if that makes a difference.
And I don't see Detroit Lakes.
And there, I wasn't.
Yeah, either. So I will make a folder for Detroit Lakes on the SharePoint for those that can get in. I'm gonna do that right now. And then if Emily wants to work on the.
I can't add one.
Oh, okay, got it.
So if they wanted to stay in this space, would that help? I don't know if that
So
would.
what we'll do, so those of you that aren't able to get, like, either get into SharePoint or have the conversation to pick a strand, for today, just pick a strand. Just, but talk to your team. It'd be nice if you all went to one. You'll all want to go to one strand. And then you'll have some time at, we're going to give 20 minutes to 30 minutes within each strand to go into your groups too. So you'll have time to talk there and work on the self-assessment if you don't get it done now. So right now I'm starting a folder for Detroit Lakes, so you have that and can get into your workbook for those that can get into SharePoint.
Alyssa, this is Jillian. I think Sarah had mentioned for the Hopkins St. Louis Park team, we need a folder for this year. Our team from the previous years is still, our team from the previous years on SharePoint is still on there, but we don't have a 2021 to 2022 like folder.
Oh, okay. Well, and you're kind of a new team that's split up this year, right? So it's gonna be Hopkins, St. Louis Park this year, right? So how about I just start a new folder for you guys and I'll get that in there for you too.
Perfect.
So I'm almost done with Detroit Lakes here. I'm gonna finish that one. Okay, so I got Detroit Lakes folder and now I'm gonna go make one for Hopkins, St. Louis.
Melissa, anything I can do on the SharePoint side?
I'm just setting up a few folders that weren't in there. So I'm just finishing up with Hopkins. I'll let you guys know when I get that one, Hopkins St. Louis Park. Does anyone else have a need beyond that right now?
This is Margie. When I tried to go into the our strand, I got booted off and came back into this one.
Oh, it has to be opened. Good.
I gotta open it, Margie. I'm not
Oh,
there
okay.
yet.
Okay.
Wendy, can you just put your email in the chat? You probably have already, but I have lost when I leave.
Hopkins St. Louis Park, there's a folder now in there for you.
Okay, thank you. And then should we just, obviously we didn't have a breakout room, so we'll just meet later to do our self-assessment. Is that fine?
Yeah, so just, you guys decide as a group, just pick a strand for now. That doesn't mean you have to stick with that. So just go and attend, and then you're gonna have some time to go, you're gonna do another breakout in the next session. And so you guys can kind of work on the self-assessment and other things then.
Thank you, Alyssa.
Thank you.
Sorry, confusing.
Hi, sorry, I was a little late to coming. Can somebody throw me in the Bloomington one? Thank you.
I did that already.
Hi guys, it's Abby. So should I be in the strand with Carrie?
You can pick whatever one you want, Abby.
I'll do Carrie. I'll go with Carrie. Yeah, is it charting the life course, right?
Do we know which one she's going in, Lindsay?
For Carrie, they said that they would, I don't know.
I don't know
Okay.
which one. she's going in.
Okay.
Happy to
don't worry
help
about it.
wherever needed.
I'll
Oh,
just
there you
hang
are.
out. Oh, that's okay.
We embedded the person-centered practices into all the strands, so there is no
Oh, you did?
standalone.
Okay.
Yep, there's no
All right.
standalone charting the life.
So I'm
course.
just gonna hang out here. So, all right. Thank you,
Thank
Sue.
you. And Christina, you and Tracy are set.
Lindsay, I'm gonna go start our strand. Is that okay?
Yeah. Yep.
Even
If
go.
there's
even-
anybody else in here who still needs access, I see you, Chris. Just
Yeah,
let
I
me
know
know.
I have access. Thank you so much. But being this my first year as a work coordinator and I'm the only member here, for me to fill this out, I mean, I could do it and I could come up with something, but to make it meaningful, should I wait to meet with my team to fill that out?
That
as
would
you
be
mentioned?
my recommendation. We don't want to rush you through it. The idea of doing it today was to help you guys so that you didn't have to have additional time outside of here. So for today, my recommendation would be to join which strand you think from a district perspective, prior to doing that self-assessment.
Got it. And the first time I've heard of this was about an hour ago. So yeah, I don't know what you're talking about with the strand or anything, but I like to party. I'm here. I'll go with the punches.
Okay, well, glad you're here. Kim, you are good to go. You should have access. Anybody else that we may assist with? Wendy, you're saying no. I
Right.
see you. Okay. So did you click the link that came? It wouldn't come directly from me. It will come from an ECBC site. Maybe Wendy, while you're doing that, Joey, I could help you.
Could you put me in the Eden Prairie group, please?
Emily, are you able to help me with that?
Yeah, it's just hard for me to hear who's talking and. Okay.
Joey Wagner.
Joey
would like-
Wagner,
So it's Bloomington,
Eden Prairie, please.
Eden Prairie.
And Sarah, I saw your message. I'm gonna leave that up to you to use your professional judgment. Maybe which team might need the most support I would join.
Okay,
Sarah-
how about
Sarah, it's Megan. I feel like I could really use some support.
Eden Prairie?
Hey.
Eden
Yeah.
Prairie or 287? Which one are you doing?
Eden Prairie, because it's just me and Joey.
Okay.
And that's
Eden
great
Prairie.
because you guys are new, so that would be super
We could use
helpful.
some guidance.
Okay, can you add us both to Eden Prairie then? Sarah Gutzman and Megan Nelson?
I can do myself, Lindsay. I figured it out.
Thank you. Wendy, were you able to? So sometimes you have to go through a setup. If it's prompting you to do that, I feel like I dream SharePoint. Pam, I should see you in a breakout. What, have you been here the whole time? I hope she was able to go. So it is, oops, go ahead, Chris.
I'm sorry. So you just want me to join a random breakout room? Is that what I'm to do?
Also, now we're going to transition into the strands that people have selected based on the self-assessment that you would have done with your team. So for today, you could either stay here for high quality transition programming or go to customize employment or business engagement. And I can put both of those links in the chat as well.
Got it. Thank you. And how long does this call go for?
Till 3 o'clock.
Okay, cool. Thank you.
Yes. Thank you for coming, learning after an hour. Okay, I am going to put the links in the chat so this one coming is for business engagement. And then the next one coming is for embedding customized employment. Okay. Anybody else still in the main room that isn't gonna stay for high quality transition programming, need help? Hi, Shane.
Can you see if Kim Ness went into business engagement?
I see Kim Ness on my screen. Hi, Carol.
I am not
sorry, I'll
going
mute myself.
anywhere. I cannot get in, you guys.
Well, I think, are you talking about the SharePoint, Kim?
Yes.
Okay, so don't worry about that at the moment. Where, Carol, you want Kim in business and who said they needed Kim?
Karen RB,
Karen.
I'm sorry, Karen RB did,
Karen.
and Kim.
Hi, people.
Hi, Kim. Jessica and I did the self-assessment, so just boogie into business engagement. Just click on that link in the chat and you'll see us, smiley faces.
Okay, well, that's where I'm gonna go, but are you two in on the site?
Yes, you don't want to know that, yes.
Look at, why?
We'll get you in, Kim, don't worry.
It's personal, Kim.
Okay, where am I going? Business engagement.
Yes.
So
Okay,
click that
well,
link.
if I'm not on this site, I'm dead in the water. Okay, bye.
Thank you. Okay, who else needs a home?
Hi, I'm sorry. I just got here. I got
Hi,
finished
Callan.
teaching and got here late. I believe I'm the only one from our Richfield team here today, and we haven't had a chance to do the self-assessment yet. Is that? I'm sorry. I'm getting caught up. Is that in the SharePoint?
Yes. Yes.
I don't see our team's folder in there anymore. Is that? I don't know if I'm just missing it or not finding the right spot for it.
So we went off of a survey. Let me see if Richfield may not have replied.
Sorry.
I don't know if they are part of the ECBC this year. Do you want to help us out, Kellen, and reach out to the team to see if they're going to be a part of it?
We are. I'm
Oh.
I'm team rep here.
Oh, okay.
It's
Well,
such a crazy
so
start,
nobody
we might have
filled
missed
out. Okay, we'll get you a folder.
Okay.
All right. In terms of placement, Emily, another group is asking for some support. Maybe Emily and Sue, can I just go into another group really quick and come right back? And
Yep.
okay, all right, I'll be right back.
I can't get into my group.
So I think right now, people are splitting into the strands, if I'm not
Yeah,
mistaken.
I can't get in. When I try, I get booted.
Which one were you trying to get into?
I'm customized employment.
Okay. I'm not sure if that's the group that Lindsay was going to struggle with. I know they have to open the room first before it's open, so maybe it's
Okay.
not quite open
She was
yet.
gonna put it in the chat, but she just has business engagement in there. When I got booted, the chat goes away.
Yeah, there is two links. It is kind of, the first one is business engagement, and then the second one is customized employment.
Okay, I'll try again, see what
Okay,
happens.
good luck.
So community engagement, you just want all of us to get out of here.
Correct, yes. I mean, happily and lovingly. Not just get out. Yes.
Callan, did you know that which group which breakout strand your team was sort of leaning towards?
We haven't had a chance to do the self-assessment this year, but we did customized employment last year. So I don't know if I could just head there for today and then talk with our team and figure that out.
Sure, that would be probably a good option for you right now for.
Okay, is there a spot where I can find the link to a survey to do?
On the ECBC SharePoint, and I think, Callan, you have access to it.
Okay,
you would go into, and actually I will need to make a Richfield folder. Because you're Richfield, right?
Mm-hmm.
And add one in there. For you guys.
Margie, are you still trying to get into business engagement? You're looking a little frustrated.
I'm trying to get into customized employment.
Customized employment?
Yeah.
So that would be
then I'm in two things. I'm in the main and this one.
You're in the main and customized employment?
Yes, I'm in two.
Huh? Okay, I'm gonna Did you contact Alyssa? Because
Okay.
it customized employment is a separate link. Did you click that one?
Yeah, I clicked on that. Well, the first time I just got booted off the entire meeting, and now I got two going.
No, you're just, well, let's.
Wow,
Hmm.
okay. Boot
Let
me
me-
out of the main one.
You, what? Say that again?
Boot me out of the main one, I guess.
Okay, it's not personal. I'm gonna remove you. Okay. Do you have the link though for CE?
I can see it and I'm in there. I'm in both.
Okay, let me boot you out of this one. Bye.
So Lindsay, this is Ellen Anderson. Shanna and I just got back in here. Are we supposed to go to our breakout room based on what we finished in our sheets? So when I go to the breakout rooms, mine still shows the schools, the team breakout rooms. It doesn't show.
Yes.
Like
Okay,
custom-
which one did you guys choose?
We chose customized employment.
Okay, let me put that link in the chat for you, and then you'll click that link and you guys will go to that.
Okay.
Okay, so here you go, Ellen. That is the customized employment link.
All right, and we'll see if Shanna heard all of that and joins us.
Yes, so you'll need to leave this meeting and you go into that link.
All right.
Okay, thanks, Ellen.
Yep, hopefully I get there. Bye.
Everyone else here, are you guys here for high quality transition programming? Bueller. Sue.
Are we all alone?
I think so. Somebody said, oh man.
I think Caroline Rogers and I are here from Detroit Lakes, so you're not alone.
Yay,
Okay.
Wendy.
Yep, and this is Sheila. I'm here too.
Great, now we're seeing
God.
faces.
Oh, there are
Yay.
faces.
We got faces.
I'm here.
Yay.
Yay.
Can't
So
find
you
the right
guys,
buttons.
oh, here's breakout
There we go.
rooms. Did somebody hit the breakout button? I see your lips moving, Emily, but you're muted.
Lots of people were still in their breakout rooms, so I closed them to come back, so they know to come back. So that's probably why there's many not.
Okay, so then, oh, here comes Ellen. All right, so if people are coming back from their breakout room, if you did not choose high quality transition programming, speak now and we'll put in customized employment or business engagement for you, whichever one your team chose. And I'll just put them in there. So then the next step is you will go to whichever strand you chose through your self-assessment.
So Lindsay, I'm back. It's Ellen from Alexandria. It didn't work. It got me there, but it was just blank. So I'm back. Sorry.
For customized employment?
Correct.
Okay, I'm going to mute myself and just give Alyssa a call. So if you guys just give me 1 second.
Sure. Sorry.
Well, technology is our friend most of the time. But it can cause some aggravation. So we'll be starting the high quality transition strand in a few minutes. So if this is the group that you chose, welcome, welcome, welcome. If not, check the chat for the links to the other strands of customized employment and business engagement.
Thank
And
you,
I-
Sue.
Yep.
Okay, so I have Ellen. Who else is here that needs to get into customized employment?
Anna, I do too.
Okay, so I have Ellen,
I tried.
Shanna, and
Hi, Lindsay.
Crystal.
Shauna Poncelet, Osseo, we need customized employment,
Oh,
please.
hi, Shauna. Okay, so I
Hello.
have about 5.
They need to leave that.
Okay, so you guys, those of you who are still in here for customized employment, first, what you want to do is copy that link, paste it into a new browser, and then leave our meeting. So it sounds like a couple other people had the same issues. You got to leave our meeting once you've copied the link. Which link?
You put the link in again, yeah. Because it
Coming your
deletes when
way.
you go out and go back in and then you can't see the past chat.
Yes, of course. Okay, so I'm putting the customized employment link in here. Copy the link first and put it into a new tab and then leave our meeting. And Alyssa will be waiting with bells on. Thanks, Alyssa.
Yep, bye.
Good luck.
Okay. Anybody else need to go somewhere else? Okay, well, all right.
We
Sue.
have our peeps. Our peeps. Yay.
You guys are rock stars for dealing with us wanting to make sure that you could have actual time to work on something and move in and out. And you guys were amazing. Hopefully everything worked well for you guys. If not, please let us know. Or if you loved it, please let us know. And I think, Sue, should we go ahead? All right. So I'm going to share my screen so that oops, that's not right. All right. Are you seeing the PowerPoint, Sue?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. All right, so Sue and I are lucky enough to get to co-lead the high quality transition planning and programming. And so we wanted to, first we'll do some introductions, and then Sue and I will kind of go back and forth, going through what we want to accomplish. Okay, somebody needs the Sue, do you happen to have the customized employment link with you? Or Emily? Someone needs the customized employment link. And I can't grab it when I'm sharing. Thank you. Oh, yay. Oh, thanks, Taylor. Good to see you. In a different role. Okay. So then going and we wanted to go over our 10 commitments to equity. And really we're focusing here on today is prioritizing equity, go local, starting early. Obviously, we're focusing on 18 to 21-year-olds. However, we encourage that you start that transition planning much younger, and are valuing our people. So we're going to go through, thank you, Sue, our introductions. Sue and I will introduce ourselves, then we'll have all of us introduce on here. And then as a group, we'll complete our trajectory. And then we're going to walk through the workbook a little bit more in depth because we didn't necessarily have a lot of time. Hi, Julie, I saw your face. And then we'll go into some other breakouts so that you can work on your checklist for October to November, so that you can get a head start. And for those of us who maybe weren't able to finish our self-assessment, to allow some time for that and questions, because we want to tailor this to you. So I feel like I introduced myself in the main section. I don't know if Sue, do you want to introduce yourself?
Sure. Hi, everybody. As Lindsay said, I'm Sue Benoka, and I also work in the same unit that Lindsay works in under Tom's capable supervision. Our job is all about interagency connections. That's been the passion of my career, is getting people to work across agencies and units and divisions and whatever artificial boundaries we put up in front of ourselves and families and students. So I'm really happy to be here. What I want to most learn or know from this year is I want to know how it's working out there for you guys and how we can best be helpful.
Hey, thanks, Sue. I feel like I didn't do that. What I would like to learn and know this year is similar to Sue of what we can be of most support to you guys. And I also love to know what you guys are doing because that helps us from a state perspective to help support you. Then I feel like I will see, we have, how many people are with us? We have 54 people, Sue. Should we put it in the chat or should we go person by person?
That's again the downside of trying to develop networks and collegiality in this environment, because it's really hard to do that with 54 people. So I think if the chat would be a great thing to put in there, especially so we can record what it is you want to know. And it's not that we don't want to know you individually, we do. So hopefully as we ask questions and have discussions, you can introduce yourself at the same time and we do that. Does that make sense?
Yeah, thank you. I think so. And Kelly agrees too. Okay, so just if you will, please put your name, your location, and what you would like to learn or know this year. Hi, Jessica. Just your name is in there.
That's all you need of me, right? I hit enter by accident.
And you know, by the way, Emily, I like how you gave Rosemount Apple Valley Egan the name Rave. Makes so much sense.
That's all I've ever seen it as.
Oh, really?
Oh yeah, like in lots of.
Oh, well, I'm learning
things.
something new today.
Yeah, so I was surprised when I was like, oh, maybe that was just like a one-time thing there. Or not one time, but a random pattern that I saw. So yeah,
Sue
that's all I've
nodded
ever
her
seen
head,
this.
so I
Yeah.
think it's for real.
We learned that the sports teams in the area are considered rave, so maybe that's where it came from.
Oh,
Maybe, yeah. It was weird.
Now we know.
Yes. Oh, nice. So, oh, okay. Thanks, Frank. How VRS can support. Oh, nice, nice, nice. Thank you, Jessica. And I do appreciate those who are still in the strand too. I feel like you guys can also provide to support and some of those experiences that might be helpful to some of our new friends in joining us too. Yes, Wendy, welcome. We are so happy you're here.
It's nice that it seems like we've got representation from across the state, which is cool.
Yeah, it's very cool. Oh, so we do have some networking comments too in here, Sue. So we appreciate that because we want to make sure we incorporate that. We tried a little bit last year. I think we learned a lot. So we know some ways that we can do it this year. Taylor, I feel like your experience from your previous role will be very helpful in terms of figuring out how you fit in the puzzle.
Hope so. Thanks.
Awesome. Oh, I like to hear the continuing to learn how to VRS can support too. I see a lot of that. I think that's wonderful because obviously we need to figure out how all of our agencies partner together for the interests of our students. Focusing on the whole IEP and best support of their students, families, and their goals. For more information and support with person-centered planning. Well, good thing you're a part of the person-centered planning cohort as well. I think it'll be perfect. Like they go together really well. strategies to improve transition programming in rural areas and network with others. Love that. Who's that? Laura. Oh, Northern Learning Center. Great. Oh, hi. Okay. Well, so there's a lot more I could go through. I'm wondering, Sue, should we just keep going and you guys can keep plugging them in there? And we can capture this chat as well. Okay, Sue, do you want me to stop sharing?
Yeah, why don't I share? Whoops, where am I here? Share screen. Last year, the previous cohort did a trajectory to kind of look at this cohort. We don't have to do the same thing at all, but I wanted to show you some of the thoughts that they had that we could piggyback back off of, or say, no, we want to start all over again. So one of the things that we did last year was try to think, okay, what do we want to accomplish as a result of this collaboration? What don't we want to have happen? So you see it's vision. We're sort of being more specific about this strand. And then how can we support each other to get there? So we've sort of made a slight variation on the vision, what we don't want, and the steps to get there. So I'm going to open it up to people to talk about any of the areas, but maybe kind of what do you want to accomplish as a result of the collaboration in ECBC this year? If it's not up there, we'll add it. If it is, we'll just say, yay, we're going to do the same thing. So I think with 54 people, but I think we can just sort of be informal as we can. If you want to raise your hand or put it in the chat, that's fine. Otherwise, just if we trip on each other, we'll get more formal. But if anybody has a comment, please let us know. What do you want as a result of this collaboration? In this strand in particular.
Yeah.
One of the things I saw in the chat and Lindsay called out is opportunity to collaborate within the district and kind of that networking kind of call around the state to get some resources. So some of those are, maybe I will put networking in as a formal because it didn't call it out. So networking across the districts.
And I see here Anne said she appreciates all the don'ts.
I'm sorry, what was that?
Anne appreciates all what we don't want. Nancy says to be able to share ideas and effective strategies. Kelly is saying, look at how to implement pragmatic changes at the school level to support all students transitioning to post-high school. Yeah.
Sorry, I'm just having a little trouble writing this stuff in here, so.
And if we can always add it. Ooh, a framework for scaffolding for 18 to 21-year-old transition programming. Well, don't you worry, that is coming. Appreciate the focus on system changes and the framework you just mentioned. I can provide a little bit of context on the framework. That is a collaborative process, including local level school districts, leadership, MDE, and within MDE, that's with CTE, so specifically work-based learning, assistance and compliance, and obviously myself, and then DEED VRS. I think that's our partnership. And then let's see, we also have a framework for tracking high school students' customized work experience opportunities. Okay. All right.
How about what don't you want to see happen as a result of participating in here? I saw somebody appreciated the list that was there. Is there anything that's dramatically missing? Nope, those capture it.
Nice.
Cool. So the steps, obviously, and Lindsay had mentioned it, and we talked about it earlier, that we do have some ideas on how to get even virtually some better networking going across in discussion topics. So we'll work on that over the next couple meetings, but also I think we need to kind of establish a list of who's in the strand and give you everybody's numbers and
Yeah.
emails so that you can, even when you're not at these meetings, be able to connect with a question or something.
Yeah.
So we'll find out contact information, how to get on the SharePoint. We got to make sure that everybody knows how they get on that SharePoint. And I think we've got it. Lindsay's become an expert as she said she dreams about it.
My side gig.
Yeah. And hopefully we can have some communication to check in regularly on progress of strand work. And we hopefully will be sharing success stories right along so we can stay motivated. Is there any other kind of way we can build into this strand support for you guys?
I think the other thing I would just like to kind of piggyback off of what Sue said, just to make sure so that we are able to connect you guys, that you put in on the community teams tab who your team lead is and all of your individual contact information and which, most importantly, strand you selected so that we are able to create that contact list to send to everyone. Because we want to make sure, because I think that was something that last year somebody in here had mentioned and we loved the idea of it and it never came to fruition. And so we want to ensure that you have that opportunity because you guys build off of one another so beautifully. And we want to make sure we capture that because we do have some folks on here who are starting a transition program new this year on top of enhancing a transition program.
This is Jessica. For me too, under the, what do we want to accomplish? Like, I feel like just educating, it's a continual wheel of educating new staff coming in and parents where their children are entering the transition age on what is secondary transition. And
I can take
we've done a lot with that education piece, but it's just it's a constant thing. And I don't know, like, I've thought of like creating a pamphlet or something of like, what is it? What are the things that we talk about? Because a lot of parents are really unaware when their children hit high school. Or maybe a team isn't even talking about it and it's too late. So for me, it's just that, how can we support each other with educating our teams and parents? So.
And I love the idea, Jessica, of a pamphlet, because as a high school teacher, I struggle with letting parents know about what the transition programs offer or what they even are before the tour is even set up. And with COVID, the tours have been difficult.
Yeah.
And so I love the idea of having something that we can hand the parents that would give them the information that they need to make that decision.
Great. So can I clarify? So in terms of having something really to educate our families on what transition programming is? Okay.
Yeah, like I think it's something simple. Like last year we did these Tuesday transition talks at 12, these virtual meetings with parents. And I mean, we didn't have a ton that attended live, but it also was an hour of time. And so some parents feel like they can't dedicate that much time. So like, yeah, if case managers have something easy that they can email to parents or hand them over physically at a meeting or put on our school websites that, you know, just a basic, here is what transition is and what you should know. I mean, we've created a lot of stuff that's really lengthy.
Yeah.
Which sometimes
Good stuff.
Water that way.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
Maybe we can consider some opportunities that people would be willing to share some of those strategies and written things in kind of a central location, like even send them to either Lindsay and I, and we could kind of put some way to share those things together, or look at how that.
That's a great idea.
Hi, this is Kate.
Hi, Kate.
The other thing, I don't know exactly, I've been thinking about how to phrase this, but I think wanting to have discussions around are the students of color, the minorities, are their needs being addressed? How do we reach out to all families and continuing a conversation around diversity and equity as we look at school collaboration and then going on to opportunities of employment, and talking about race and diversity as barriers and conversations that are happening within the community.
I love that, Kate. I think that's something, so I can go to our transition framework topic of discussion. I feel like that's something that we've called out and talked about. And then what does that look like? And what is the how behind it? So I feel like I'm thankful that you called that out today.
Great. I think this is great. I don't profess that this is done yet. I think we should just revisit this periodically. What this will also help Lindsay and I do, especially in this number 3 box, is help frame the agendas and information and resources that we might be communicating between meetings to you on certain of these topics. So that's real helpful. And if you think of something later, stick it in the chat, or you can email either Lindsay or myself and say, hey, we really think this would be important. So that'll help us frame the best way to use our meeting time together to meet your needs. So I will stop sharing now and we will continue on with our PowerPoint.
All right. Well, oh my. Okay.
By the way, just for the newer folks, if you didn't catch that trajectory tool that we just used is a person-centered practice tool, as Carrie said in the beginning, that you can use. We've used it as a system planning kind of anchor to kind of look about where we wanted, what we want to accomplish, where's our vision, but you can use it with parents and students really quickly to kind of get even information about IEP goals, whatnot. What does the student, what does the parent want for their future? What don't they want? And what are some possible goals to get there? So just want to call out again, it's one of those tools that people can use in the assessment or IEP or other system planning, IPEs, whatever documents you want to use. So just trying to call out the person-centered practices pieces, because we've changed the strands and we are embedding more person-centered practices into the strands. So that was my brief commercial for that.
It was a great commercial ad. And I also feel like you've even said this, that trajectory tool is nice to use with students, especially when it's like, you know, that question of, well, what do you want to be when you grow up? Or what do you want to do? That's such a hard question. And so if you can really start with, well, what don't you want to do? And Sue does a beautiful job of kind of turning that around into what we want to do. And so that tool is really nice to use at that student level.
And just another thing, lest people get pushback about too much paperwork, which obviously that's there. This doesn't have to be a paper. This series of 3 questions, and basically it is. So it's a conversational framework is what it is. And it will just net lots of information for the existing paperwork that you have to do.
gonna help you. So then going through, we want to spend a little bit more time looking at the workbook tabs. So that first tab, this is where we were talking about, make sure you're putting in the team lead there, up on that first line. And then your monthly meeting date and time. And if you ever want us to come to any of those, let us know. Happy to attend and happy to be a part of that conversation and planning. And then here's where everyone on the team, the last name, first name, organization, that's where we want to make sure you capture everyone from your community team. And this is part of that checklist that you would do this between now and our November meeting so that we have that. And that you guys have that. Then the self-assessment tab, some of us completed today, some of us are going to complete between now and November. If you need help with that, let us know. We are happy to help with that again. But then this was determining how you would select your strand moving forward based on that assessment. Questions about the self-assessment for those who haven't done it yet, or any others?
Hopefully that those that have been here before have seen that this was pared down dramatically. Again, we wanted to just sort of make it as quick but as representative of the strands as possible. So hopefully you saw that when you looked at it, or you will see it when you look at it.
Point. Then the workbook student tracker tab. This, we went over this together, but this is where, and I feel like I want to highlight again, because sometimes when you're in the workbook, you don't realize there are directions up top under the student tracker for each section. But again, you would enter your goals here. So for number 1, 1A, 2, and 2A. And then you have the student, the student list below there so that you identify who they are, but not identifiable information. And then we have here this interagency team member column. And this is to make sure so that you're kind of checkpointing of who the team is partnering with, from VRS, SSB, county, different agencies that are a part of your team. And then we did put that trajectory completed with a student. So it's really nice to have that, like Sue said, you can use this for your IEP planning or for your evaluations. It's a nice conversation. And then the start and end date of employment, if there's an end date, and then the number of hours, wage, and then their business where they are working. And then we did put this like picture of high quality transition planning. So if you scroll over in the workbook, that's where this checklist is. So we put on here identifying that table C is completed for a student. So it's that transition chart where you can have that interagency collaboration. That you've already reached out for input on the IEP, that would be best practice. Creating that agenda prior to your IEP meeting. And again, these are things that we're just hoping to build that capacity within your districts that you can implement on a systems level basis. And I'm sorry if you hear Lily, but tell me, Sue, if it gets really loud because she's waking up. And then this next one is student courses are aligning with your IEP and general education. So looking at those courses and ensuring that you have that alignment. I don't want to call out St. Cloud, but I know you guys did a lot of work of looking at your coursework, what gen ed has to offer and what special ed has to offer. Where are those gaps and where are the alignments and where can we align more? And then looking at that graduation plan with partnering agencies and then the summary of performance for our students who are graduating. Okay, am I missing anything?
And again, just to maybe appear a little obvious, but those are the elements that we've sort of called out as being, I flew over the state and said, here's a group that does high quality transition planning, these would be the elements I would see in your community and within your individual student plans.
Thanks, Sue. That's perfect. And I feel like too, Sue, we're gonna get into some of the milestones too, that would also be that like high level. I like how you said that, like here's what we would see.
Yeah, and the milestones are sort of the little markers on the way to some of those, the ones that we're seeing right here. How do we get to doing a table C? How do we get to make sure we have a graduation plan for students?
Then we go to the enrollment data and goals tab. So this is where you're gonna enter those unduplicated count numbers. So based on disability. So it starts off with speech and or language, DCD, mild mod, DCD, severe profound, physically impaired, deaf or hard of hearing, and so on and so forth. And then, so that would be under the enrolled line. And then the goal under each disability and age would be on the line below. And then like we saw in the large group, at the end, it'll calculate, there's a formula in there. It'll calculate your total and give you a percentage of what your goal would be. And like we said, the target goal we're shooting for would be that you guys shoot for 50% if you're able to do that, 50% of your numbers.
And again, this is, I think, a place where people's eyes start glazing over because it's like, oh, and then why do I have to open the workbook? But we're looking for accountability. We want to see that we're actually making a difference so that you can report to your districts. We can use that to report to Olmsted. But we can actually, it's just more important that we're actually seeing progress because we really do think that if you have high quality transition planning, you're gonna get more kids graduated and employed. So this is just an accountability measure, so you don't have to scribble it on other little sheets and kind of do your own calculations. So hopefully this is an assist and not an add-on to what you're doing.
And is this for the 18 and 21-year-old students in the transition programs?
So Julie, that's a great question. Yes, this is what it's intended for. I know you guys as a Brooklyn Center team are partnering with 287 for transition programming. But this would be something that I would partner with them on. And then you guys could also tailor it for your high school students so that you could track that as well.
So last year we had talked about just adding another line to track our high school students but we just didn't want to duplicate with 287 so that the students are counted twice. So we would have them fill out the 18 to 21-year-olds and then we can add another line underneath like we did last year.
You certainly could. I guess, I don't know, Sue, what you think. I wonder if you would want to have a regular check-in meeting with 287 so you guys weren't duplicating your efforts and numbers.
Yeah, and they're part of our team meeting, or they were last year. And so we wouldn't duplicate and could plan.
Because I know they're on here and they have multiple teams that are also on here.
Yeah, and I think maybe some suggestion might be, because I like the idea of adding another line for other kids, but you might just want to fill in a little note saying C287 so that we know that that's where some of this information is going to be logged in for you guys. That might be helpful.
Awesome. Yeah, that's a great idea. Oh, and then Crystal also commented that one of my coordinators, that we have many open enrolled students as well. And so then they would be tracked in with their transition program that they're going to. So it might be Robbinsdale or Osseo or 287.
Your students who are open enrolled in Brooklyn Center and then they're staying there through transition age 18 to 21?
No, they're going back to their home districts for the transition. So we have them going to Robbinsdale, Minneapolis, Osseo, to their home district for their transition program.
So are they still a Brooklyn Center student or they're going back and attending through their resident district?
They're going back and attending through their resident district.
So then you guys wouldn't count them. They wouldn't be a Brooklyn Center student. Good point and questions. All right, should we keep going, Sue? Okay. Then the action plan, again, we have directions here. And we'll be doing this in our November meeting. And you'll have time to do this, unless, please feel free, if you feel you're at a point you want to just go for it, go for it. We did put an example in there of what you would put under an action item, action steps, people who would be responsible, and approximate timeline. This is just those steps and strategies to help you continue that continuous improvement plan.
Yeah, another example that Jessica outlined before is if your district really wants to roll up its sleeves and work on promotional materials, that would be another one that you could put in that action plan.
Great point. Any questions so far as we're going? I appreciate the interaction too. It's really nice. So wanting to draw our attentions to the milestones. So I feel like on that student tracker tab, we identified some checklist items. Then in our milestones, this is going to show your progress. It's going to show where your work is going. And so saying that you would have that baseline for the beginning of the year. So right now, you would determine that baseline and you would revisit these milestones at each of your monthly meetings. And all you would need to complete is this first section under the community teams, and then the high quality transition planning. So the beginning of the year baseline data and your end of the year update. And then we have that notes column so that you can put in different things that are helping you with your progress or things that you've done along the way that'll help you when you go back. And I don't know, for those of you who are joining again, hopefully you will notice that Sue and I really scaled back the high quality transition planning milestones, but then we also embedded into all of them, that was like a collective process, person-centered planning pieces into there.
And just underscoring again, Jessica, I don't know if you've seen that, but like that 2-minute welcome to the hub video or some of the charting the life course, those are some really great, they have some great materials on the hub website that could help with some of that ongoing training that are just easy to put up and easy to share links, and they're not really very long. So that might be another place to look for some materials.
Okay, so the next one we wanted to go through is this checklist. So we wanted to put in, because some of the feedback we got was wanting to have more solidified steps so that it's more clear. And so we put here monthly community teams checklist, and then the October to November checklist, and we will add in for the next meetings as well. So the first step would be to set that goal for on that goals tab. You're going to set a goal for 1, a goal for 1A, 2, and 2A. And then enter the students and interagency representatives on that community tab. So I'm looking at the October to November checklist. So you want to complete that community teams member tab, identifying that team lead and your regularly scheduled monthly meetings. So you want to identify that and put that in there. Enter the enrollment data and goals. So entering that information on that tab. And then the student tracker tab. So like that first bullet there, setting those goals for 1A, 2, and 2A. And again, in the student tracker tab, entering the students and their interagency representatives, the education, VRS, SSB, county, and other participants from your community team. And then lastly, completing a community team trajectory. So like we did here today, like Carrie highlighted in the large group, and then doing one as your community team so that you guys know where you want to head as a team. And I think that'll also, well, this actually, I was just thinking out loud, but that will also help you determine what action steps and strategies you want to put onto your action plan. And so I think by doing your trajectory, because this is the checklist obviously for October to November, by doing that trajectory, you're already setting yourself up for success for our November meeting. When is it? Okay, Sue, am I missing anything here on this checklist? I think we got it.
Yeah, no, I guess we're just really wanted to spend a goodly amount of time going through this, just so that people are more familiar and you can see that it's a helpful tool in structuring your team meetings, kind of getting action plans, and kind of being accountable to what you want to have happen for your students. So it's a good way to frame the work that you guys are going to be on the journey for the rest of this year.
Yeah. Jessica, you put a question in the chat of, is the trajectory on the ECBC SharePoint? And if you guys don't mind, I might stop sharing and share the SharePoint and walk into one of the teams. So that, and maybe I'll go into, let me get out of here. Okay, Jessica, may I go into your team? Let's see.
Can.
All right, so then actually I'll go back out and walk us all through it. I'm going to share my screen again. So are you guys seeing the website?
Yes.
Okay. Sometimes when I reshare, it looks like I'm sharing my other screen. Okay, and should I make it bigger, Sue? Is it too small?
If you can make it bigger, we always like bigger.
How's that? Go big or go home.
Yeah, perfect.
Okay.
Perfect.
So when you come to the SharePoint, it's going to land you on the home page. From here, you just go into Documents. And we've pinned 3 folders up here. So these are, obviously you don't need archive teams, but these are resources, so you can find that right away. This is a previous customized employment training from last year. So I'm going to go here to Northern Lights ECBC team, which would be Jessica's team. And then I'm going to click into this year's folder, and you'll see here, here's an editable version of the life course trajectory tool. And then you'll be able to click into there. And it opens it up so that you can edit it. And sometimes when I'm zoomed in, I don't have the option to open up in the app. And also, hold on, folks. Am I the only one that doesn't see? There it is.
It's now, okay, just a little pokey.
Yeah, it's there. I got nervous. So you, hold on, I'm going to zoom out for a sec. I'm so sorry, guys. I don't have my, there we go. So I want to be able to edit. Well, this is going swimmingly. Why? So it might just be because I'm sharing, but you should be able to go in here and actually enter into your trajectory.
Yeah. And then I guess Alyssa's comment earlier is if you can open it and then open the app in the desktop, then it makes it a lot less clunky to go ahead and do the edits.
And that's what I was trying to find. Usually it's right up top here by this editing button of open in the desktop app. And I'm not locating that. But so this is where you would find it. Other questions?
You can also find an editable version on the Disability Hub website as well.
Mhm. Yeah, and if you do that, just go ahead and upload it into your SharePoint. Well, if we don't have any other questions, I'm gonna put up our contact information. So just a reminder, let me see here. I am not sharing. To go in and go into the SharePoint and do your October to November checklist. And should you need any help, Sue or I are obviously available to come to any of your meetings, help you with any of your checklist items. We want to help you. And in the meantime, we will make sure to send out the trajectory that we tweaked today. And then also, once you guys have entered your information into your community teams, we will send out a contact list as well. And we really appreciate you guys bearing with us today and being here through all of our breakout fun.
And I think it goes with, just to kind of make a comment that we're happy to join virtually, but we're also willing to come out to your team meetings as well, so.
Yeah. So good to see you too.
So what do you think? This looks like it's gonna be an exciting journey.
Woohoo! Teresa, I see you smiling. I saw your cat make a couple debuts.
And I can't see the rest of your faces because you've turned off your cameras, but so I can't tell if anybody else is happy or not.
We've got some in the chat. Oh, Wendy, if you can get into SharePoint.
Yeah,
I did write your
poor
name.
Wendy.
I'm gonna follow up with you, Wendy, and Kim Ness.
Abby, thanks for the smiley face. Is there any kind of burning question before? We're actually finished on time.
I know, it's a
Right?
miracle. Jen, oh my God, Jen, you haven't been able to, your SharePoint went all the way up to our IT.
I tried
All
it
right.
again today. I sent a
Did you?
screenshot of what it looked like. Same as
Oh, good,
everybody
thank
else
you.
was getting. but
Okay,
yep.
I'll send that to our IT. You're in a different category, Jen.
Ours is really out of whack. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you all. So good to be with you. Stay safe, healthy.